Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Goddess Empress Amin Ra, your morning anchor, and I'm here today with my co anchor.
My name is DJ Almighty. I'm in Raw.
Good morning, Almighty.
Good morning, Empress. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Great.
What do we have first in headline news? Almighty, what do we have first in headline news?
Yes. Here. 13-year-old girl lured to the beach and beaten unconsciously by 30 youths at a crowd film attack. Lots of healing to do, reporters say.
Yes, a Canadian teen was allegedly beaten until she lost consciousness by a group of bullies who lured her to a beach late at night, and her heartbroken father fears his daughter would never feel safe again. The 13-year-old girl was attacked by a horde of teens at Bois Gyro Beach Park in Kelowna, British Columbia, on September 27th after a friend invited her to show up to the hangout spot around 8:30 p.m. When she arrived, the defenseless girl was surrounded by approximately 30 youths who began recording a verbal altercation. Royal Canadian Mounted Police Sergeant Laura Pollock says, according to the CBC, the girl was pushed to the ground where several teens jumped on her and punched her in the head and other parts of her body multiple times before she fell unconscious. The girl had called her mom, but the heartless bully stole her phone, leaving her unable to call for more help, according to her father Donovan. The family's last name has not been released in order to protect them. I watched 2 minutes of my daughter getting near beat to death, like 20 or 30 kids who just decided that it was better for them to record it and laugh at her, Donovan told the CTV News. Donovan doesn't know why his daughter was attacked, saying the teen had just been started her first year of high school and she hadn't been in school with most of the teens in the attack. He believes the violence stems from what they see online. An ambulance was eventually called to pick up the 13-year-old and take her to the hospital. The teen's father says she suffered a concussion and bruised ribs, but has a long way to go to heal from the trauma she endured. Physically, she got a lot of healing to do, Donovan said. Mentally, she started therapy, and I don't know how long that's ever going to take for her to trust or want to go outside again. The RCMP had opened an investigation into the assault, and it reviewed very clear, detailed video of the incident to identify all those involved, including primary aggressors and witnesses, according to the outlet. Three minors were arrested Tuesday after investigators. Excuse me. Three minors were arrested Tuesday after investigators identified them as part of the five aggressors that take part in the attack. They were released under strict conditions, CBC reported. Pollock said the ages of the suspects limits the amount of information that can be released, but pleaded for the teens to stop sharing videos of disturbing attacks. Almighty.
Yes, that's very disturbing. Disturbing. Excuse me. That reminds me of a movie that came out several years ago called Bully. I don't know if that's where they got it from, but that's exactly kind of what happened in that movie. It's a true story, by the way. There
Right.
was a couple of teens in Florida that lured the bully to the beach and stabbed him and beat him to death.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy. I think that's probably where they got that from. And then another thing too, you got to ask yourself: the friend that brought her over there, was she involved?
Right. It kind of makes you wonder if she was involved or not, because why would you invite her to come to a beach if you already knew what was going to happen to her?
Right.
I
So I mean,
totally
that's
agree
kind of
with
crazy.
you.
They need to investigate that too. So
Yeah, she absolutely needs to have repercussions because you don't lure someone to an attack. Um, that makes you just as guilty as the people who actually committed the attack. All right, what else do we have in headline news? Almighty.
Yes, in the headline news, in other news, tourists horrified as gunmen storms beach at a five-star Cancun resort and executed a man before fleeing on a jet ski. That's
Yes,
crazy.
a Mexican national was gunned down in broad daylight near a luxurious Cancun resort by two suspects who fled on jet skis as tourists huddled inside during the scary scene, according to reports. The fatal shooting happened around noon Wednesday in what authorities believe was a targeted attack behind the five-star Rayu Caribe, the Riviera Maya News reported. At least two gunmen approached the unidentified victim, believed to be in his 30s, and fired multiple times, police said, according to the local outlet. After opening fire, the suspects fled on jet skis, according to reports. The victim has not been identified, but the hotel said in a short statement he was not a guest or a worker there, according to the Riviera Maya News. Video posted on social media and reported on by news.com.au showed concerned swimsuit clad guests and workers gathered in the lobby of the hotel where rooms can cost up to $350 a night. Mexican prosecutors said Wednesday it's believed the fatal victim might have been part of the shooting death of a 12-year-old over the summer. And that broad daylight shooting, two gunmen on jet skis opened fire on the beach, killing the boy, an innocent bystander, when they attempted to take out a rival drug dealer. CBS News reported at the time. The U.S. State Department has encouraged tourists from the states to use increased caution when traveling to Mexico. Almighty.
Yes, that's crazy. I advise y'all people when y'all take y'all vacations down there to Mexico, there's a lot of gang violence down there, so please be careful.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to take precautions when traveling anywhere, but there are some areas that you have to just take a little bit more precautions. Well, we're going to get back with our weather news when we come back after these messages.
What is Coca Cola? Is it an excuse to get together? Since 1886, Coca Cola has been passing on smiles from generation to generation. We've been giving kids scholarships, like the early birds and the all nighters. And you get to enjoy what matters most. Coca Cola. Drink up.
Welcome back to SL Podcast World News. We will now have weather with Almighty.
Yes, welcome back. Tropical development in the Gulf of Mexico diminishing, but still on the watch by National Hurricane Center.
Okay.
When it might develop and where it will track, the NHC says conditions are becoming less favorable for development of this storm. Excuse me, of this system over the weekend as it modernizes over the Gulf. It's less likely to form into a tropical storm system because of its interactions with a approaching cold front. However, we will continue to monitor it for any changes. In order for the border, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. In order for the border low to become a tropical depression, it will need more well-defined low-pressure system along with organized showers and thunderstorm activities.
Okay.
here we are. These are the areas you need to be watching: Houston, New Orleans, Tampa, Cancun, Havana, and Miami are some of those areas that needs to be watched. That's being watched very steadily. So just keep an eye on it over the weekend. It might develop, it might not.
Okay. And we will keep you guys updated and posted on any new developments. Next, we have our sports news. And in our sports news, Michael Jordan Racing Team is suing NASCAR and its CEO Jim France, alleging the guy and his organization are monopolistic bullies. His his Aranus 23XI Racing, along with Front Row Motorsports, filed a lawsuit in federal court in North Carolina on Wednesday after the two teams say they refused to sign updates packs with NASCAR over unfair terms. In the suit, the team said they wanted more when it came time to extend their charter agreement beyond 2024, namely a bigger piece of revenue pie. But France and NASCAR wouldn't budge. Ultimately, they alleged the org or the organization pressured them into agreeing to take it or leave it, into a take it or leave it offer that if they did not acquiesce to, they could risk losing their charters in the future. Instead of signing on, the two teams filed their suit this week with the hopes that a judge would intervene and issue an injunction that would allow them to compete in the 2025 season without releasing their antitrust claims by putting pen to France paper. Eventually, they said in the suit they want the STEMI, France, and NASCAR unlawful monopoly power. I love the sports of racing and the passion of our fans, Jordan said of the lawsuit in a statement. But the way NASCAR is run today is unfair to teams, drivers, sponsors, and fans. Today's action shows I'm willing to fight for a competitive market where everyone wins, adds Jordan 23XI Racing co owner Denny Hamlin. When I look around, I see that the best and the most competitive sports in the world understand that when teams thrive, fans benefit, and that everyone who invests in making the sports a success should share fairly in that success. With the right changes, we can certainly make that a reality in racing. Almighty, what do you think?
Yes, that's fair. I understand what Michael Jordan is talking about. Because some of these people, these are ancient people that's been around for a long time, so they don't want to bend the laws or bend the rules. Excuse me. But there needs to be some changes to the NASCAR industry for sure.
I absolutely agree, and especially with the fact that these players are the ones that's doing the work, so they should have a say and a stake into a claim inside any monetary value that is being provided for the team. These are the people that go out here and risk their body limbs to play these sports. So I definitely think that the team should definitely get a stake in the monetary value.
But yeah, when it's money being tossed around, everybody must get a cut for sure.
I absolutely agree. Okay, so now we're gonna have the announcements for SL World News. Okay, so first in announcements we have, of course, you guys know, SL Podcast World News is always hiring for live field reporters. Our live field reporters will be responsible for going out on the grid to capture live events, conduct interviews with SL entrepreneurs, and report back to our anger management team. The right candidate must possess a great personality, must have their own live stream, and must have a working knowledge of the OBS software system. And other news, excuse me, and other announcements, SL Podcast World News is offering services for event advertisement, commercials, and SL entrepreneur interviews. Pricing for these services can be found at the front desk of the station located on the ILCM or you can contact myself, Jason's Lyric Resident, for more information. All right. Now back to news. All right, Almighty. Is there anything else you want to add? Are there any events going on that we need to know about?
Yes, Dusty. Dusty from the VWE would like some feedback on his new country music song he wrote on YouTube.
Okay. And we will
So y'all
link
go,
that. We will
yeah.
link a link to the video in the description below, so you guys can check that out and maybe leave him some comeback, some skip some comeback, some comments at the bottom of this news clip.
Yes, y'all show some love and leave some comments.
All
Tell them
right.
what you think.
Don't forget to mention that at Club Luminous we will be having the purge every Saturday for the duration of the month of October from 7 to 10 SLT. You guys come on out in your purge costumes and enjoy. There is every Saturday there is a 3 DJ lineup. Always a good time being had.
Yes, for sure. Kind of section as you like, but make sure it's scary.
All right. Is there anything else we need to report today?
That's all I got for you, Empress.
All right. Well, we thank you guys for tuning in. As you guys know, we are always reporting on the trending topics and the events that goes on in SL. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or if you would like to write us and let us know what you want to see during the news hour, you can do that by emailing us at slpodcastworldnews at gmail.com, or you can contact myself or Almighty, and we will be happy to get that on for you if we can. Also, those of you guys that's looking for to do event advertisement, or if you want to get a commercial for your business done and have it played during the news segment, you can contact me, Justice Lyric Resident, and I'll be happy to get with you and share with you the pricing for those services. As above, so below. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening.
All right. That's good night.